Hi, this is Eternal King. Got some breaking news for you. We're getting a massive patch just in time for the Eternal season. And I don't think there's ever been a patch by Riot that has been so clearly defined in terms of its vision for the game. And I'm really happy to see it. So let's talk about what's changing and the impacts it's going to have on the Eternal metagame. Because again, half the changes, or about half of them, are for Eternal specifically. So it's great to see Riot paying attention to the format because there are a lot of us that love this format because it just offers things that Standard doesn't. So let's talk about control cards. Eradication, 5 mana for a one-sided board clear. Now, of course, it's not one-sided specifically, but if you're running things like Undying, then or you're running units that want to die, then yeah, it is absolutely a one-sided board clear because you want your stuff to die. This is huge. 5 mana for Eradication is a scary anti-aggro tech. And then you combine it with the other big change, which is Withering Mist. So you go to Withering Mist at 4 mana, and that is huge in terms of anti-aggro tech. 4 mana, drain 2 from 2 enemies. It's just a better box. It's box is a tech card. It's dependent on what your opponent plays. Withering Mist now costs as much as box. It heals for 4 and it threatens 2 things, and it's just oh, you like being aggro? Okay, well, you can't be aggro anymore. Your aggro, this is a game card is just gonna flip tables basically. It's GG, go next when this gets played on 4 mana. That is so good. I run this as a 3 of in Darkness 100%, especially because you can make it fast speed, which makes it more flexible. Yeah, holy smokes. Big buffs for Darkness. It doesn't seem like it, but Withering Mist plus Eradication at fast speed. And it's enough said. Holy smokes. And the other deck that really gets buffed is Kindred Nasus. And those 2 decks weren't even bad. I was always scared when I ran into Kindred Nasus, or Nasus Thresh, Thresh Nasus. They weren't bad decks. And now they're just going to be absolute menaces. Probably good though, because again, you don't want the entirety of LOR to be here's your best aggro deck. Is it Annie? Is it Pirate aggro? Here's your best mid-range deck. It's Jax. Here's your best combo deck. It also board spams with bots. You don't want the entire game to just be that. You want there to be good control cards in LOR. Because if LOR is supposed to be like Magic, control is supposed to be a valid archetype. And it's not just, control with Lux, for example, where you're banking on the free lasers and the free synergy value. The cards are supposed to be good in of themselves. In a vacuum, they're just supposed to be playable, these control cards. Speaking of control, I want to talk about my most exciting addition, which is for Freljord. Now, I can't show you the card yet, but it's a 5 mana 3/2 that basically gives you a free Avalanche in Freljord. So instead, I'm going to show you At the Stairs. At the Stairs is an 8 mana card that does 3 to all units. So yeah, you're getting a smaller body, but there's a 3 mana discount and 1 less on the ping, and usually the 1 damage doesn't matter. So that's huge. That was the biggest weakness of ramp, where it's just if you didn't hit those key breakpoints of okay, I've successfully ramped to 8 mana and I can play my At the Stairs. If you didn't get to hit those breakpoints, it felt so bad to play ramp, and I love ramp as an archetype. So now, it's pretty valid to just not bother with Trundle. Why am I playing Trundle anymore? Trundle has always just been a stopgap measure. You just play him out and hope he doesn't just get instantly disintegrated, which feels terrible. You would just throw him out and force a card out of the opponent, and usually at a mana deficit. So I would rather get the board wipe with my 5 mana card. And then if they want a Mystic Shot the bird, go for it. Who cares? I already wiped you, so that's great. Really happy to see a good Freljord card printed. That's a big deal. And, stuff like Vlad. Vlad is now a control card. And it's funny because Vlad's always kind of been a control deck. Because it's never been good at aggro. It's never been that good as a mid-range archetype. It really is when you would win with Vlad, you'd barely scrape by. So it's always been a slower deck. So now Vlad just kills something on play for free. Wow. Holy smokes. You know, Braum Vlad in Eternal. Oh yeah, you bet your butt. You know, you bet your sweet bippy he's gonna come down and just like instantly nuke something. So, oh, it's a pretty scary card. Free 2-for-1. Yeah, that's always going to be relevant. Like, basically, they looked at the 7 mana card for Vladimir, which was this. I'm going to try to pull it up because, again, I don't see it very often. Yeah, Bloodseeker. Now Vlad is just like a Bloodseeker, and he has a level up win con on top of that, which, again, sometimes you don't even need to care about. So, you know, he still does old Vlad stuff on level up, but now he's also just a Bloodseeker. Like, fantastic. Holy smokes. You know, Vlad meta incoming. For real, guys. I talked about Deep earlier, and where I said that, like, Deep was never that far from being good. Now Toad is, like, a serious card on 2. Like, I think Toad, as a 3-1, with his old effect, is an auto-include in Deep. Like, there's no reason why you would ever not just run Toad. It's insane. It's insane value. Like, yeah, your opponent can pokey stick it, and that's kind of the best case scenario, but you're still getting the heal, you're still getting the toss. So yeah, everything about this patch, even something like Yordle Tribal, which I'm the only person who's ever played Yordle Tribal in this entire world, you know, they're looking at bad cards, and they're making them playable. Again, pro players will scoff and be like, ah, ha, ha, you know, whatever, Yordle Tribal, but here, I'm going to type in Yordle, and I'll show you the card I'm talking about. Yordle Newbie. So Yordle Newbie was always supposed to be kind of your 1-drop tribal card, where like you summon another Yordle and he gets bigger. Now he's a 1-2. So now that means he's a 1-mana 3-2 when you play another Yordle. If you play 2 Yordles, he's a 1-mana 5-2. Like, he's practically a Glenkeeper. You know, the Shen card, where it just like, he's a 1-2 at start, but he has potential to scale very high. That's great, because I used to have to run Inventive Chemist in my Yordle deck, and that felt stupid because it was anti-synergistic, but there just was no good 1-drop Yordles other than Yordle Squire. And, like, Blade Scout doesn't really count. Not a great card. So, yeah, Yordle Newbie, I'll play with it. Oh, absolutely. I will meme with Yordle Newbie. Don't you forget it. I will do that 100%. So there hasn't been a single change in the new patch that I looked at and I thought, like, this is stupid. No, every single change is amazing. Every single change is relevant. This shakeup is going to be massive, specifically towards the control spectrum, because everything's been so aggro and mid-range focused in Standard, also in Eternal. Everything's so board presence. Like you talk about, like, oh, well, one of the best decks was Bots. Well, Bots wasn't a control deck. It was like a ping deck that just wanted to board spam later in the game. But now, like, maybe you run Darkness. Darkness doesn't care about board at all. And, like, Darkness is going to be good now. Like, it's just going to, like, spells to face as a win con. You know, we haven't seen that in LOR for a while. So, good stuff. Really happy with what Riot's done. Eternal King signing out. You know, kind of forget about the videos I sent out recently talking about what the Eternal meta was going to be. Essentially the same as last season, minus some, you know, minus bot spam being a little worse. You know, now Jax is also nerfed. That's huge. So, yeah, control. Like, there'll be new control decks that are actually viable, and not just viable, but, like, crazy strong. I'm terrified of control now. Pirouette being 3 mana is, you know, so huge because Pirouette was stupid. So yeah, very, very happy about everything that's happened recently with the new patch. I'm not going to start climbing until that new patch lands, because it's literally going to be such a game changer. It'll be like playing an entirely different LOR. It'll feel like playing MTG again. So, you know, that's going to be awesome. This is Eternal King signing out.